What is going on, everybody? It is Friday, May the 6th, and that means it's time for my News Radar. And let's start off this episode of News Radar with a bit of a deep dive into a comparison between the current incumbent king of foldable devices, the Z Fold, and one of the many Chinese competitors that are popping up. In this instance, we are talking about the Vivo X Fold. This is a device that I've talked about a little bit on this channel already, back when they first started teasing this thing, and now it's out, it's here, people are reviewing. And there's a really great review by XDA developers. The author is Ben Sin. I don't know if that's their actual name, kind of like Ben 10, the cartoon, but with sin instead. Pretty cool name if you ask me. And this review, like I said, is absolutely excellent. Is extremely in-depth. And we're not going to read the entire review, obviously. That would be weird and that would be boring. I'm going to link to this review so that you yourself can go read the review because it's very good. But the thing I want to key in on is the camera portion of the video because I think it is very, very revealing. Obviously, when we talk about the physical perspective of these two devices, I prefer the Vivo device because it is wider. You can see here it's wider and a little bit less tall. And then whenever the thing is actually closed down into a phone mode orientation, that to me is also better. It is a wider display, so you don't have quite as much of a super thin remote control narrow type thing. So on just the face of the physical aspects of it, I think I'm going to prefer the Vivo device. But if we look at the cameras here, you're going to see, first off, there are 4 cameras rather than just 3. And one thing you're going to notice here in particular is a periscope zoom. Anytime you say square lens there, that is a periscope zoom. If you don't know what that is, basically the light enters the camera, it hits a lens, or a mirror rather, which turns the light at a 90-degree angle so that it can run through multiple different lenses. If you need to magnify greater than, say, 3 times or so, maybe you can get to 5 times without a periscope design. But if you want to go up higher, most of the time, 5 times is going to require a periscope. In fact, it may be every time. I may be wrong about that. But anyway, higher magnifications need to go through more lenses, right? So more lenses need what? It needs more depth. That's how physics work. The more lenses stacked up is going to be taller. So if you can bend the light, then you can put the lenses over here maybe, right? You can bend them and put them sideways. That way, that's how you get your additional zoom. So when we start looking at the camera performance here as we scroll down, I think you might be quite surprised because I think there's this general perception that Samsung has very good cameras, so don't get me wrong, they do, okay? I still have my Fold 2, still love my Fold 2. I think the camera is very underrated. It's very, very solid. The Fold 3 is even maybe a little bit better than that, but to me, the Vivo X Fold absolutely curb stomps Samsung's device, and this really shows where Samsung is going to need to greatly improve with the Fold 4. So look at some of these samples here. So we've got the Fold 4, or I'm sorry, the Fold 3 next to the X Fold. And I think that in this image, not a huge difference, right? I think that the X Fold is a little bit crisper and a little bit punchier, not a massive difference. When you look at another, again, main sensor, even though the Vivo X Fold is a much larger 50 megapixels versus the 12 megapixels on the Samsung device, not a huge difference on the primary sensor. However, when you start moving into low light, that's where the Vivo camera really takes over because it just has a larger sensor. I think in this instance here, the Vivo camera is obviously the better shot. When we look at this light here, look at how dark and grainy this is. What Vivo manages to pull out is far away superior. On the ultra wide, looking at the Samsung device, this is overexposed through here. And that's not, I mean, it's okay. But when you look at what Vivo's got, that is not overexposed. That is a far superior image. And then again, when you get into the nighttime area with this ultra wide, well, again, wow, massive difference. The Vivo device is absolutely destroying the Samsung device. But then when you get into zoom, okay, let's really just go for it because this is our reference image here. And we're going to go 10 times zoom into that cable here. Here's 10x zoom on the Samsung device. Well, it's only got a 2x telephoto lens, so you're optically zooming in from there. Well, look at what Vivo can pull off. That is night and day difference because of that periscope camera. And pretty much all of the camera samples kind of point in that same direction, that the camera is far and away better on the Vivo device. Like I said, definitely read the rest of this review because there's more to life than just the camera, okay? Samsung is winning in the software battle, and they go into this why in terms of split screen and so forth. Samsung still has the advantage there. But camera tech is really coming a long way, and I think with the Fold 4, they're not going to be able to get away with another 12-12-12 setup, okay? The 108 megapixel rumor is going to need to be true because they're going to have to keep up with companies like Vivo who are absolutely demolishing them in the foldable camera segment. Let me know what you think about this. How important is that camera to you in general? What do you think of the Vivo device? Check out that review and let me know in the comments down below. Next up, I want to give you a little bit of an update here. I've talked about my Sony Linkbuds in a review and in a long-term review, and then most recently, I actually talked about the fact that there are a Linkbud S, a new version of the Sony Linkbuds that are supposed to be coming out that actually don't have the hole in the middle. They're actually going to go into your ear canal like your traditional earbud, but they will support, or sport rather, a vent, which will basically allow sound to pass through. So instead of having earbuds with a hole in the middle so sound can go through that, they're regular earbuds with a vent for sound to go through, and these earbuds will have the ability to have noise cancellation. So you'll have an incredible ambient mode and hopefully a pretty decent noise canceling situation as well. Well, today we actually do have some rumors here from Mr. John Prosser, who is confirming the Linkbuds S, which I brought this to you maybe a week and a half ago. This is This is real. They're coming on May 18th for $199. This may be something I might look into reviewing. You know how much I love earbuds and I love ambient, so maybe this might be kind of a step in the other direction. Talked about it more already in another video. I'll link to that again, but I wanted to give you this update here that this is happening. This is pretty much confirmed at this point, along with, you can see here, some new Sony XM4s, the XM5s. There they are. XM4s will stay around $349, XM5s $399. I'm not a big over-the-ear headphone fan. The only ones I have really are my Surface headphones. I really don't use like ever anymore. I don't know why that is the case. Other than that, the only other thing I use are my Logitech Pro X wireless, I think is what they're called, which I do quite like them as well. But at any rate, Linkbuds S, they're coming May 18th, $199. And let's wrap things up with a little bit of news and update on the Windows 11 for Surface Duo project. I just brought you some news just the other day that both screens were now working on Windows 11 on the original Surface Duo. Mind fully blown. But I did tell you that one thing that wasn't working yet that is a really big deal is, of course, the touch screen. You're going to have to use a USB-C hub and a mouse and a keyboard, and then maybe you can pair a Bluetooth one so you can get rid of the hub, but still super annoying. Well, here's a big update as well. Mr. Gustav himself, the guy that has been doing this port, tweeted this 6:02 on the 4th. Things are becoming very touchy. Well, of course, he's alluding to progress he must be making on Surface Duo Windows 11 is the only thing he's tweeting about right now. It's pretty much the only thing this could possibly mean. Touch support is apparently progress there being made. I also do want to point out a response he made. This person named Carlos Cruz said a dual boot with Android 12 and Windows 11, a light special edition would be a godlike tool. Gustav then said, I have both Android and Windows installed on mine. Why a light edition? This SoC is more performant than any Snapdragon 850 official laptop. And I think that is something that many people are not going to be thinking about. So we talked about how he mentioned that the performance gap between the old Lumia 950 or 950 XL and this Duo appeared to be what he called it, an ocean of difference between the two. Well, it's really important to think about this because a lot of these ARM-based Windows laptops running an ARM processor, obviously, they're running basically modified versions of, a lot of them were the Snapdragon 850, like what we have in the Surface Pro X, the SQ line. I believe it's a Snapdragon 850 that's been slightly modified, and you could even argue that in some ways, the actual true 850 is more powerful than what we had in these laptops. So by virtue of that, if you're worried that this thing right here, running Windows 11 is going to be super slow, as long as the drivers are in good shape and it can properly take advantage of the power that's there, on paper, this should be literally like in the ballpark of the Surface Pro X in terms of raw computing power. I mean, I know that's insane to think about. 6 gigs of RAM, less storage, consider that as well. But just straight up raw horsepower, it's going to be relatively close, which should really go even further to really drive home the engineering wonder that this thing actually is, how powerful it actually is, and what it might be like to have Windows 11 on it. It might actually be okay in terms of performance. There's a whole host of other reasons why that might not be okay. In my opinion, is going to vary from a lot of people's in my comments, as I've learned over the last year and a half. But as far as performance goes, sounds like things are looking pretty good. So guys, as usual, I will keep you updated, okay? When Touch is here, when Gustav tweets that this is actually 4 minutes ago. Neat things I never saw before. We'll have to research. I guess the Bluetooth one might be for pins. So he's tweeting stuff all the time. I'm going to leave this up. You can kind of read these and see. He's seen things in the device manager that are weird things to be in there. As he tweets more things, as more news does come out, I will 100% be here to bring it to you. And eventually, I'm going to have to break down and install Windows 11 on this thing. I've looked at the instructions, and it is confusing. This is not something I've really dabbled in ever before. The Windows on ARM project, never messed with this stuff before, so I might be a little bit lost. If I can figure it out, who knows, maybe I'll even make a tutorial video or something. If I can figure out how to do it myself, I might need one of you to make a tutorial video for me, and then I'll do it myself. I don't know. We'll see. But exciting news nonetheless. Guys, thanks for making it all the way through today's video. As usual, massive thanks to my YouTube members, a list that continues to get longer with each passing week, and I am super, super, super thankful for that. You allow me to continue chasing the dream and doing what I love. Guys, I will see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.